Hey dude, it's Thub, and it's really cold outside today, so I figured I'd do some kind of a video that lets me stay inside, mostly. Now, I've got a lot of hobbies. Some of my favorites, saving money, and collecting video games. But I don't want to collect all of them just for the sake of collecting them. It's all about quality over quantity. All killer, no filler. However, some of those can get pretty pricey these days, so I love finding opportunities to combine saving money and collecting video games. So in this video, I'll demonstrate some of the ways I do just that. I'll also show some of the ways I like to shelve them to get that real pimp factor going. And although this mostly applies to retro games, I'll add a few tips to saving as much money as you can on brand new releases as well. Let's do this thing. Okay, now the primary tip, most important thing, is patience. If you're in a hurry, you're gonna end up paying top dollar. That's just the way it is. But if you can give it some time and just keep your eye out in different avenues and different markets, you can probably find something for a better price than you might imagine. I like places like Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, but the best one for those particularly expensive, hard to find ones is, surprise, surprise, eBay. Now, I have a perfect example right here that I haven't even opened yet, so who knows, it might be trash. Took a bit of a risk on this one, but I think this will be, well, let's just grab the overhead and have a look. Alright, this one, I was searching for a while and just, I didn't actually set up any alerts, but I know you can do that. I was just poking around on eBay, keeping an eye out. There we are. Let's have a nice close look, shall we? Disc 1. See, we got some stickers. I was worried about it when I saw the pictures because I was thinking maybe the silvery part was the disc itself, but no, that's the remainder of the previous label. So there's that and that one, and let's have a look at this disc condition. Disc is not perfect, but not bad. Let's see number 2. A little worried about this business here, but PlayStation discs are actually pretty robust. So now this one's been on my list for a while because I really wanted to play it. It's an action RPG platformer that came out just at the turning point between traditional 2D graphics and 3D worlds and 3D characters. So that puts it right at the peak of the 2D graphics art style. Not to mention, it's supposed to be really good and really fun. I've never played it, but it got really expensive. So a complete in-box copy of this, and you can find out all of this information. I like using pricecharting.com, but you can also use Game Value Now. Links in the description. You don't really want to use eBay listings because they're not reliable. They're just completely arbitrary. Price Charting and Game Value Now aggregate all the recent sales to show what people have actually been paying and average that out to give you a current game value now. They even have separate categories for loose copies of games or complete in-box copies. A whole bunch of completed sales listings to give you an idea of where to go, and a pretty handy graph that'll show you how the prices of what you're looking at have changed over time. These ones are currently going for around the $200 mark in complete in-box, and if you don't care about the box and you just want a disc-only copy, it's still running about 160, so I wasn't in a big rush. I was just slowly looking, checking every now and again. Then I found this one, disc only, but disc was kind of rough and has labels on it. They had it up for $50 US plus shipping as a buy it now or an auction option. So I bid on it and ended up winning it for $45 Canadian shipped. So that is a much, much better price on this thing. But it is going to require a little bit of attention in order to get it to where I want it, so that it's all nice in the collection. And I can show you that. But first, we're going to head out on a game pickup. Now, a local pickup, in my opinion, is always the best way to go about it because you don't have to pay for shipping. And sometimes you can find the best price this way because a local individual is more than likely, you know, just trying to raise some cash and get stuff out of their house, whereas getting it from a store or an online store, the individual is going to, the owner, the seller, is going to have researched all sorts of different prices out there and set theirs accordingly. Ha! There we are. So that is a $30 game that I just picked up for $15. Disc is in great shape, and it's got the manual. Everything's in great shape, actually. Now that was just a side quest that lined up nicely with what we were already heading to do. Now the main mission, which we are going to go and deal with right now, is to do something about that sort of ugly and possibly hard to read optical side of those discs. There's only one place in town that actually has a professional machine and will surface discs, and that is Level Up Games. See, we're really fortunate here in Calgary because if we've only got one of these, I imagine there are a lot of places that don't have a disc resurfacing location. But even better, this place takes trade-ins and all sorts of stuff. And they also sell DVDs and Blu-rays. So I have with me here a whole box of DVDs and Blu-rays, as well as a couple games. And now we're gonna see if we can trade these for some disc resurfacing, and hopefully not have to go out of pocket at all.
Hello.
Hi. All right, I have here a whole bunch. Goodness. I have 3 discs that I need resurfaced.
Oh, okay.
And a whole bunch of DVDs and some Blu-rays, some TV shows, and a couple games that hopefully I can exchange for said service. But please have a look.
Alright, so these are what you want to get repaired then?
Yes.
So we'll just put those over there.
Yes. All right, we're back. That went great. The DVDs, the games, whatever, would have been $27 in store cash and $50 in store credit. So I went with the store credit because I only had 3 discs to resurface today. But I'm gonna have more in the future, so that was just better value. Plus, I just didn't want that stuff, so that was great. Now, I'll show you the results. There we go. See, there's a little tiny mark there. But I think that illustrates the point pretty well. It turned out great. Now that we've got the functional part basically restored, might as well work on making it pretty. Because we do want it to be pretty. It's kind of a beautiful gem. First thing, labels off. Now the printing is pretty robust. It's some kind of heat-cured ink, but it can be removed if you treat it roughly. So we're gonna do it as gently as possible with a heat gun. Link in the description. Now this one, the label's already been lifted. We've just got the sticky residue left. This one over here, we could probably pick and peel off, but I'm going to use the heat gun to soften the glue so it's as easy as possible. Now I'm going to lay it down on a microfiber cloth just to avoid risking any extra damage. And I'm going to keep my hand close to it so I know how hot it's getting. Ooh. Nice and easy. Now this stuff is gonna take a little more work. So on that part, I'm gonna use isopropanol alcohol. Because my fingernail is gonna take most of forever, I'm gonna use a card to scrape it. And just like that, we got this bad boy looking practically new. Now, on to the next one. I'm just gonna do this one myself, and just like the last one, super patient, and I might not even use the heat gun because I saw the disc like warping a little bit and it jumped right back to exactly the way it was, but I don't want to risk it, so extra slow. One moment. And we have disc 2 looking perfect. This one was a little different, so I discovered the heat gun. Just use a little tiny bit just to soften up the adhesive a little bit, because it's just not worth the risk of trying to do it quicker. And then I didn't actually need to use the ISO on this. I managed to get most of the stickers off all on their own, and then what little sticky stuff was left, I just used an assortment of tape. If you're gonna use duct tape, it's really strong. You know, it's duct tape. So just take a piece off and kind of dull it by using up some of the stickiness by touching it a few times, and then it'll be less sticky and you can like safely remove it patiently. Now that we got these looking almost new, we can't display them on the shelf like that. That's crap. So the other disc that I went and got resurfaced today was this one. This one was a bit of a win because I actually bought these separately. Somebody had a bunch of loose GameCube discs. I ended up paying $10 for this disc, and somebody else had a stack of cases that they were selling, and I was just looking for cases because I like them when they're fresh and not all worn out like sometimes they are. So I was just going to swap them, but they had this one as well, so I ended up paying $10 for 4 cases, and it came with the manual. So that's $12.50 for another $30 game. That's only going to work with games that sold really well. There's a lot of copies out there, so something like this you can reasonably find the case and the manual. One like this one though, that is going to be a lot more difficult. Even if you could find a case and a manual on eBay, that would be really expensive. Now this one's a bit of a compromise, so it's not for everybody, but it will save you a lot of money if it lets you get good deals on disc-only games. See, I don't actually have any jewel cases or jewel case games on my shelves, and I don't want any, because if I got them I would only have 3 or 4 and it would be kind of weird looking. Yes, it has to look nice for me to be satisfied. So instead, you put them in DVD cases. Looks lovely. But we're not done. And that brings us to one of the easiest parts, and the cheapest. Oh yes, the cover project. Now this website is not a new resource, you probably already know about it, but if anybody doesn't, it is an online source for high quality, printable, original cover art to replace anything that you may be missing. So just go up here, search Valkyrie profile PS1. Now they have direct replacement original cover art, but they also have custom cover art. Some of these maybe I would do things a little differently, but they're pretty good for not doing any work myself. So this one looks good. We're gonna go ahead and download that one. Now the cool thing about these ones is they're already pre-sized and the right resolution and everything. You just have to print them and go. They've also got loads of other custom cover art too, in case you wanted to put Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color games in DS cases like these ones, because they got those nice little spots that'll hold those other cartridges. Or older cartridge games in cases like these ones. Now, for the next step, we're gonna have to go all the way to tomorrow morning. And it's the next day. I did want to get this next step done first thing today, but I had to go out on a run, and that stuff is time sensitive. Plus I had to pick up all this scrap, so pretty excited about all those. There will be a video about that soon. Now, we're gonna go print the art at a print shop, because there's one I know of that gives a really good price, and I just don't think it would be cost effective for me to own a high-end photo quality printer, and it doesn't feel efficient to me. I'd rather just get a professional quality print done at a great price at a professional shop, and I happen to have access to one. Now, the reason why I like this shop so much is not only are they really reasonable, it's like 75 or 85 cents a sheet for a color print, but if you show up before 9 o'clock a.m., it's only 35 cents a colored sheet. So that's why I wanted to get there early. This time it's not going to matter too much because we're only printing 6 sheets. I'm not too worried about $6 compared to $3, but it's a point I wanted to mention because that is another way to save money on this. Maybe you have one of those nearby. Hey, we're back home and I'm clean. So double win. Those cost exactly what I thought they were going to cost, and that was $1.10 each. Personally, I think that's a great value. I don't know if you can see, but these are really high res, great printing. And I really can't argue with the ease, efficiency, and reliability of just going and getting them professionally printed. Yes, you can do it yourself, but can you do it cheaper than $1.10? And will it look this good? Also, this has to be done on legal size paper because these are a little bit longer than regular paper. So legal is the one that's like a little bit bigger. And if I went in before 9 o'clock, it would cost me 55 cents each. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it for that at home. Now, yes, you can cut them out with scissors, but I'm going to use this because, again, reliability. There we are. Now, just to get it perfect, I am going to put a little crease right where these edges would be. Not a hard fold, just a half fold, little crease. Would you just look at that? Now, I would like to customize this a little bit more because that's not the perfect font, and honestly, I would probably go with full gloss next time. I think it would just be a little bit nicer. And there we are. Printers from the cover project just fit perfectly, and they look beautiful. The only thing I had to modify was this one had a black PlayStation logo. Now we got that real pimp factor going on. Alright. Now I know this method isn't for everybody, but if you just want to play the games, you can save a lot of money like that. And still lets you play them on original hardware and add them to your collection. If I had to pay full on eBay prices for those ones, I'd probably never get to play them. Unless I don't know, it would take a lot longer. Now I mentioned there would be, I had a couple other ideas for how to get new games. For one, EB Games, or maybe GameStop if you're down in the States, has it's about every month, maybe it's every 2 months, there's a day where they double the trade-in credit for controllers. So you can get $12 for an Xbox 360 controller or $15 for a PS3 controller. You can get great value there. Now the other way would be to pick up bundles of things. If someone's clearing out their collection and they just want like $200 for a console and a fat stack of games and a whole bunch of controllers and accessories and that sort of stuff. If you grab those and piece them out and flip them, maybe sell as much as you can on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, like individual sale, and then you can find a video game store, not necessarily GameStop because their values are garbage, but something like Video Game Trader or Level Up. You can bring in all of the rest of it and maybe trade it into something that you do. And then the only other method I can think of for getting brand new games and consoles or other sorts of things is abusing points reward systems, maybe on a credit card or directly in the store. Now if you haven't seen it already, I did a video explaining how I did just that to get my Nintendo Switch and a stack of games for absolutely free. just don't ask me to send you a free one because that wasn't the point of the video. But if you're interested in how and maybe doing it yourself, I'll link that in the description. So there we go. That is how I, someone with a very modest income, can afford a hobby with that normally would cost quite a bit more. You just got to be creative. And I could probably use these skills in something else that would make me a lot more money. Video games just happen to be something that I know a little bit about, so I feel like I'm in my element there. And it's not exactly an investment because I don't think all video games are going to go up in value, but at least if I continue to buy them for much less than their given expected prices, maybe I can sell them in the future if I need to, I don't know, if there's something really expensive I need money for. Well, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully it was helpful to somebody out there. Oh, speaking about somebody out there, if you have a manual for Valkyrie Profile or Symphony of the Night, let me know. Either way, it's always good to see you. Thanks again. Leave it better than you found it. Keep doing the thing.